on Alexa, everybody. Alexa's the best. Alexa's the best. How's everybody doing? Monday night. Anybody work today? Yeah, everybody, yeah. I work too. I work at a Pilates studio. Has anyone here taken a Pilates class before? Amazing. Well, if you haven't, Pilates is a workout class for women with body dysmorphia. And if you don't know what body dysmorphia is, don't tell people that. So something about me is I go to a lot of weddings. I'm like always at a wedding. The last wedding I was at was a family wedding. And you guys, my cousin was there. And my cousin, he thinks he's so cool because he was in the Air Force. I'm like, okay, I served too. I was in a sorority. You think I wanted to do that? No, I did that for my country. And my cousin, he like marches over to me and he's like, hey, Claire, just so you know, we're not gonna hang out after the wedding because I have a new girlfriend. And like, just so you know, like I've never hung out with my cousin. Like I've never even considered hanging out with my cousin. I was like, ew, Kyle, we are not those kinds of white people. But how did you meet her and is she prettier than me? So there's a lot of messed up stuff in the world, like my cousin. Gun violence, homophobia, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt's botched lip filler. But like, despite like all of that stuff, like the worst thing in my life personally is the number of weddings that I go to. In the last 4 years, I have been to 21 weddings. In my life, I have been to upwards of 50 weddings. I've been a bridesmaid 5 times. I've been a maid of honor. I have spent thousands of my hard-earned American dollars to go to Charleston, South Carolina on a bachelorette trip. And like, there's so many other things I could be doing with my time. Like I could learn Spanish. I could cure cancer. I could become president of the United States of America. Wait, what am I saying? Women can't be president. And it's like every wedding is amazing. Like your wedding, like I loved your wedding, but when you eat too many Oreos, you get a stomach ache. So I'm just on a stomach ache on weddings. And I know there's a lot of men in the audience, so you might not like understand the societal pressure for women to get married. So let me put it for you like this. Okay, imagine since you were like a little itty bitty baby boy, everyone in your life told you that one day you were gonna grow up to be an accountant. And when you become an accountant, you're gonna be the hottest you've ever been. You're gonna be the happiest you've ever been. And everyone is gonna tell you they're so proud of you. So you spend your whole life dreaming, you're like, I can't wait to be an accountant. And then you grow up and like all your friends start becoming accountants. And you go to like a lot of accounting events and you learn about accounting culture. And then you find out you have to sleep in a bed with another accountant for the rest of your life. So you tell your friends, you're like, I'm not really sure if this like accounting thing is for me. And they're like, oh no, Claire, you just haven't found the right firm to work at. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's it. And they're like, actually, Claire, I think you're next. And I'm like, that's what serial killers say. And then you tell your grandma you don't want to be an accountant, and she says she's really disappointed in you because she wanted to live long enough to see you do her taxes. And like the thing is, you guys, like I actually almost did get married. I had a boyfriend for over 5 years. Yep, we broke up, so. And we dated for a really long time, and my ex is Indian. He has a very long Indian last name, and we would talk about getting married, and he would ask me, he would say like, Claire, like, when we get married, are you gonna take my last name? I was like, aw. No, that's cultural appropriation. Could you imagine if Alexa introduced me and said, welcome to the stage, Claire Vishwakumar? And then I came on stage? Be like, this white bitch, God. I will say, though, being a white lady with an Indian last name, that's like having a black belt in yoga. I walk into the yoga studio and I'm like, hi, I know you have 200 hours of yoga teacher training, but my husband's grandparents are from India. I'll be teaching the class. And a lot of my friends were pretty disappointed when they found out that me and my ex broke up. Not because of like my emotional safety or anything, but they were like, oh, so there's not gonna be an Indian wedding? And I was like, oh, sweetie, you wouldn't have been invited. The food's too spicy for you. And a lot of conventional wisdom says, marry someone like your father. Marry someone like your father. And like, yeah, like my dad is great. He's super smart. He's really well traveled. We just don't really like talk that much, which I guess is kind of like the guys I date. So I guess I'm on my way. But yeah, I am single. I just got off like all the dating apps. Like I really couldn't do it anymore. Cause like Hinge specifically is a lot like going to the DMV. You fill out a bunch of paperwork and no one answers your questions. And the only guys there are the last comic, so. No, he was great, sorry, that was mean. Please still like me. But I will tell you guys, before I got off all the apps, I did see my ex on Hinge. Yeah, and one of the questions on his profile was, what's the biggest risk you've ever taken? And his answer said, quitting my job in finance to take a role in tech. I'm like, changing your LinkedIn status is not a risk. Do you guys want to know the biggest risk I've ever taken? Walking alone at night. Especially in Old Town, God. Has anyone in here dated a coworker? Okay, some of you are liars. Thank you for the honesty. I've dated a coworker before. His name was Colin. I was 22. He was 25. We actually worked at Second City across the street. And on our first date, you guys, he told me he had a girlfriend that died in a car accident. So I went home with him. And we get to his house, and his room is covered with pictures of this girl. He has a frame of her next to his bed, and her obituary was hung up on the wall. So afterwards, I went home and I went on the dead girl's Instagram. I had to check out the competition. And I get to a picture from like their anniversary or something, and she had a pet name for him, for Colin. Her pet name for him was Columbine. He somehow dumped me after 3 weeks, and yet I cried about it for a year and a half. But okay, don't worry, you guys. He turned out to be a total predator, so I really dodged a bullet. Yeah, so I have a pretty terrible taste in men. Yeah, actually, my ex from high school was at the insurrection. So I did turn him into the FBI. I also turned in my cousin. He wasn't there. It just seemed like the right thing to do. All right, y'all have been amazing. Thanks so much. My name's Malkie.